Continuing with the first two conference series. Next, the one, the only, Mike Caimpo. All right? If you don't know who Mike Caimpo is, then you've never searched forcible entry, truck company, or anything else on YouTube related to the fire service. Mike Caimpo has been teaching and been spreading his knowledge for, I don't know, as long as YouTube or modern media has been around. Mike's a great guy, long career with the FDNY. He is a truck company and truck work legend. I hold that very dear to my heart. We couldn't have possibly have been more honored for him to come sit down and share some time with us. Mike Caimpo, we're forever grateful. Here's to you, brother.
Okay, so we've had a debate amongst all of us on how to pronounce your last name correctly.
Yeah, if you just say Caimpo, like
Caimpo.
Italians like Ciampo. So
Yeah.
just quick and easy. That's why everybody just calls me Champ, because it's easy without the O.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's funny, you'll get mail or a check, it will say Champ O, they'll never spell it right.
Right.
But in New York City one day, a probie said to me, "Hey Lou, CIA, Central Intelligence Agency," and in New York we call the chauffeur the engine. In the old days it was MPO, motor pump operator. That was the original term when they went to motorized apparatus.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, Central Intelligence Agency, motor pump operator. I'll never forget how to spell your name." So
Okay.
kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
Just Champ. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Quick and easy. Some people say Ciampo, Chiampo, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fun having a last name like that people just butcher for you. Yeah.
Whatever. Get used to it.
How many years is this? This conference has been going on for 3 years now.
This is my, I'm a probie here at this
So this is your first one?
First time here.
What do you think so far?
Loving it. The atmosphere is great right on the beach. Everybody's very friendly. I'm very fortunate that I've worked at a lot of conferences with the other instructors. So getting to see them again, we just saw a bunch of each other in FDIC.
Right.
So, we're spoiled. A lot of us were in February, we were at Orlando Fire Conference. Then March, we might have seen somebody, someplace else. April, we're at FDIC. Now we're here, May. And then June, I have the New York State Chiefs show. But then I'm already looking to see guys in August at like Water on the Fire or something. So it's, they become your second family. I mean, you see them every other month and you run into your friends and, you bring your family around too. So it's kind of fun,
So you're the truck company guy. You're the guy.
No,
Yeah. I'm not.
Tommy Brennan was the truck company guy. I just, I don't know where, people say, "Oh, you're the guy." I said, I don't feel like I'm the guy. I was learned and mentored by some of the best firefighters from Washington, D.C. and New York City, legendary firefighters. I guess maybe, some kid called me a legend in there. I said, no, I'm alive and still working the streets. I said, a legend's that old retired guy and, this and that. I'm just a guy who likes to pass it on, and I love truck work. And I put it to, my dad, I hate to say this on air, my dad loves engine work. My brother and I are total truckies, and now we're trying to shape my nephew into the same thing.
Nice.
But
Well, hopefully the majority being in your favor, y'all will win him over.
yeah, he likes it already. I'll show you a video. We talk about young kids in the fire service, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. We've seen less and less firefighters come on with a trade, and you've had to work. I think in the FDNY, our training has to go back to things we've never done before. I mean, you need a class where there's a screwdriver, an open end wrench, a ratchet. I want to put 5 different water valves on the wall, gas valves, nuts and bolts, and just teach them the basics about clockwise, counterclockwise. And people laugh at me, but then you get my nephew who grew up in a firehouse as a volley, and then his uncle he watches, but we kid about the kids that played Game Boys and stuff.
Sure.
And my brother's cutting open a wall in overhaul, and my nephew's running the bucket with one hand on the joystick, where I've been in a tower ladder for, a long time, almost 30 years out of my 32-year career in New York. And I'll grab the joystick and support my hand because I don't want to be the guy that
Shakes you all.
Yeah.
And here's my nephew, 20-something years old, one hand because he's played Game Boy his whole life.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
but-
that's an interesting perspective to hear about the younger generation coming in without a trade. Steve's a big chainsaw guy. He does tree work and stuff like that. And how many folks have you looked at to crank a fan, crank a saw, do something like that, and they're like,
Yeah,
What?
cranking a small engine used to just be normal, and
everybody had done it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we even put the decompression button on it to make it easier for them.
right.
You
Yeah.
know? I mean, I look at you then, Steve, and I know you can drop start a saw, and some guys say to me, "Well, why don't you teach that in your advanced hands-on?" And I'm just like, the one thing about the fire service in my 37 years is we have everything from every end of the spectrum. This guy could do it in his sleep, and then this guy, you're afraid he's gonna cut his leg off when he gets
Sure.
near the saw.
Right.
So
or
it's-
somebody else's leg off.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I teach it? Don't I teach it? It's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Recently, I taught a guy to drop start a saw. He was having trouble. I was like, try this, and then I regretted it after he did it. I was like, let's just never mind. Let's don't do that.
let's go back
Yeah.
to A, B, and C and stay
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
So you're retired now from FDNY, still in it.
Actually, no, I'm not. Everybody thinks I am retired. Unfortunately, I had pneumonia second time in 5 years, and I got COVID. And I was having some issues right before that. And I told the doctors, I fessed up like, hey, something's going on with my throat. I taste some smoke. All of a sudden, I'm losing my voice. Or, when we walk 5 floors, I can't catch my breath, but I can walk an hour on the treadmill. The Stairmaster kills me. So they sent me to some specialists. So I'm actually have some issues going on in my throat. And I'm working light duty. The chief of training is a home run. He put me in special projects. I'm working with some unbelievable captains, lieutenants, firefighters, and we're creating brand new videos. We go out in the street, we film live.
Cool.
During COVID, companies couldn't come to the training school. So this chief said, let's go out in the field, film things, and we can live stream it back to the firehouses. So I do that, and we made, I'm in training minutes with fire engineering. The FDNY, we've decided to come up with these little quick tips,
Yeah.
and the guys can watch them on their telephones and stuff.
Yeah.
So that I'm working in special projects at the training school. We call it the Rock.
Okay.
So I'm still there. Maybe by the end of the year, I could say the retired word. We'll see what they're going to do with me, but I am not retired at the moment. How about that?
Yeah.
Play that on the bottom of the screen.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad they're using you in that way. Yeah.
It's Ray McCormick. I think you might have had him over here.
we did.
Ray finished his career there. It's different. It gives me a different perspective on the job. On my way out, I've always been a giver back to the fire service, so it's kind of real fun to get my little foot in the door. And it is. I was up in the gym at the training school. At the end of my day, I'll go in. I'll get a light workout in, just to stay in shape. And when a young firefighter comes up to you and is like, "Hey, Lou, I saw that video. That was all." I'm like, "Wow, maybe I do have an impact."
Yeah,
in
serving
this
a purpose.
position. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I assure you, you have an impact.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, but
I'll ask you the same question that I asked Ray. After such a long career and successful career, what makes you want to keep going and carrying, taking this knowledge, that's, it's almost irreplaceable. The things that you present and the perspective that you show on your, what you teach specifically, what makes you want to continue that on? With all due respect, you've served so well in so many years, you could easily just stop and be, nobody would ever say anything about it because, you've done way more than what was expected of you to begin with.
I guess it's just the passion inside. Right, my age, I'm only 60. Do I have still more to give? Or, the passion that I love the job. There's, it's hard to explain, but as an instructor, lecturer, hands-on, it's not like the end of the day, a kid shakes your hand or something like this. It's an email or the next time a guy sees you at the conference and he's like, "Yo, bro, that thing you taught me or we did in that vacant building, it works." And to me, that's getting an A+ on on a report card. Like, that's why I do it right there, because I impacted his life at a fire, and something I taught and passed on works. And like I said, it is gratifying, being in this room. Some people come up to you and just be like, "Hey, that's pretty neat. I watched your video since I've been a young firefighter. Oh, I appreciate that.
It's the truth.
I like that.
Hundreds of times. Yeah.
But when a guy's like, "Hey, I did the punch technique on a ceiling. We got up in the cock loft and put the fire out," like that, then I realized I had an impact on the fire service.
Yeah, we're always nerding, looking for the things that make people do things, and it's like this magic box that we're always trying to open up, and it's nice to hear. It's so pure. That's a great motive. I love the answer.
Yeah, no, it's just when will it slow down? I will tell you that if after 2 days of hands-on, being 60, and I broke my elbow twice. I was in an explosion actually coming up this week 4 years ago, and I'll notice from the trauma I took to my left side. Like, if I'm working on my left side a lot, doing hands-on, I'll lay down at night and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm sore." I didn't have that 30 years ago, but
Right.
So I actually just got done writing a book, and my true passion, as you said, being a truck guy. If I go back to Tommy Brennan, reading my dad's fire engineering before he got home, I wanted to read that back page, and I just realized there wasn't a lot of stuff written on tower ladders. And I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of years on the job. I started 10 years ago when COVID struck. You're home, work 24, home 72. And I'm like, you know what? I got to do something when I'm home. And I've finished this book. So, trying to give it to the fire service about something on tower ladders, just specific, because I don't think there's anything out there. And I just want to, it's not about the money. It's about making the mark. I have a wonderful family. My daughters love me, and they just joke because, I don't know anything about social media. My daughter's like, "Dad, you got to brand yourself. Give me your phone. Make an Instagram."
Yeah.
What is all this stuff? Dad, you young guys don't know who you are, And, I'd sell the book for $10, and she's like, "What are you, crazy?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what it's going to cost for printing yet, but if I can have an impact on my way out the door, to make firefighters better that operate tower ladders, I look forward to that next venture.
So what's the date looking like for that?
Well, right now, my daughter just moved to South Dakota last week. My youngest, she made her own novel. I got to give her a plug while I'm on here.
Yeah.
But she is in the process of downloading it right now. So the prototype, so we can see the prototype. And of course, right, the end of my career, there's a paper shortage due to COVID. I'm like,
Imagine that.
costs go up. I don't even know what it's going to cost. So I'm hoping to keep the price down for firefighters.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully I'll have a prototype in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully,
Okay.
less than 2 weeks. So
I'm excited for it.
I was getting ready to say I'm going to be staying in tune, and
yeah,
I'll be
let
buying
you
a
know.
copy for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
What's next for you?
what's next?
Yeah. Are you making this travel with a couple of the other guys over the next few weeks, or?
No, I'm actually lucky and not. Like I said, I'm working some extra days at the training school, not working 24s. It's hard too after 30-something years of 24s on, this and that, and all of a sudden 4 days a week I'm working 4 10-hour days. It's like I get up at 4:30 and it's like, what the heck's going on? You come home, you're in the recliner at 10 o'clock, you're out.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to do the traveling that they have been, and to be honest with you, with my throat issues right now, I try to stay away from it. If they'll call me in and say, "Hey, would you teach with us?" And I'll say, "Wait, you're doing live burn. I can't be right now with my throat issues. I can't be around the smoke." And
Damn.
if it's just a vacant building, or throw some ladders or cut with a saw, I can do something like that. But I don't want to be, or I'll just do the lecture portion. I'm in, but I got to stay away from the smoke just until they get done. If I could just say about something with smoke to your younger listeners, I know this sounds like your dad talking to you, your significant other. I started in the Volleys in 1979. I started in Washington D.C. in '85. We had vacant buildings. You saved your air because you were in a vacant. Like let the smoke get out. And I never thought. I was at the nurse station a little while back, and before one of my tests, and she said, "Oh, World Trade Center." I said, "Yeah, twice." And she looked at me like, "What?" I go, "1993." She goes, "What? What happened in '93?" The nurse wasn't born then.
Right.
I said, "Well, I dug for bodies in the basement of the first World Trade Center." And she looked at me. I go, "All dust. We didn't know what was down there." And so I said, "And all the exposures." And they look at you. And I would just say to the younger firefighters, with, knock on wood, I don't have the C word in my throat, but I do have chronic laryngitis right now. I have nodules and lesions on my vocal cords, and some of this is a direct effect from the trade center. And it's been 20 years after, and I'm still going to fires. And it's the weird exposures, the food on the stove. Yeah, it's just food. Pull your hood up over your nose. Don't put your mask on. Just quick, open a window. The roach bombs. This couple summers ago, 2 summers ago, we went up to the rooftop for smoke from the roof. There's nothing from the street. And we get up there, and there's a cell tower. They put the containers right up on the roof, like all the battery. Well, all of a sudden we open the door. This white smoke is puffing out. The batteries are melting in globs in this thing. And it was a weird nickel cadmium something battery with sodium. Hazmat came in there like, "Oh, everybody's taking an exposure mark. We get our gear washed, do all that." So, a simple run turns into a fiasco real fast. So just if you have a chance, that air is free. I've lost a lot of friends to cancer and this and that. I mean, like you said, try to protect yourself for your retirement and enjoying life.
Yeah, great advice. I can assure you the respect and trust that we have in you. A lot of guys are putting that in their brain right now.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's almost inexcusable now. Yeah, air is almost limitless. I mean, you have so many bottles. So I'm a bit hard headed, but it's almost inexcusable.
Yeah.
So not the same problems back then.
Yeah, it's hard to articulate, but thank you for all the knowledge and the videos and taking the time to produce those. We know that the editing and doing all the legwork behind it, it's effort. But man, the knowledge you've shared, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Appreciate talking with you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hope you have a good day.
I hope
sir.
so.
Take care, Lee.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.